first off, thank you, David, for editing this in the future. If I'm editing this, thank you, me. And if Ben's editing this, thank you, Ben.
Speak up. Like, loudly. So that your voice is heard.
Okay. Heard like the mothers of the womb. Okay, we're good.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Ben Stanhope.
And I'm Zach Leewald.
I'm Nikolai Christensen.
And today
is the first day that we revealed our last names.
Yeah,
sort of.
Nikolai joined us here with this plunge into a new terrain. Because we were like, it's kind of pointless. Like, people are going to figure out who we are anyway, so we might as well just say who we are instead of awkwardly, like, not having our last names in the intro. So that's our change for today. Also, Nikolai's on for the podcast today. He's a former classmate of ours.
Yes, we graduated with him.
Yeah.
We can finally say that.
We didn't think we'd all make it, but we did.
We didn't think we all made it. We didn't think Nikolai would make it. But
okay,
he did.
We gotta go easy on him. Come on. He hasn't even said anything yet, Nikolai.
If you go easy on him, then I'll go hard on him.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
All right, I'll stick up for Nikolai then. So today we were reviewing one of Nikolai's. Is this your favorite movie or one of your favorite movies?
Well, the series in general is my favorite.
Okay.
But there's some movies that are good in this series and some that, suck.
All right. So this is at any rate, the franchise is one of his favorites, but we had to go back to the first one, The Fast and the Furious. Not to be confused with the fourth one, which is called Fast and Furious. Oh my goodness. Lost my train of thought there. So we will now start with Botch, Watch, or Top Notch.
And that is where we... You know what? We're not going to explain it. I think we said that last time. We're going to stop explaining each of our articles. So I give this movie a watch.
Yeah, I give this a watch too.
Yeah, I give it a watch too.
Why do you give it a watch, Nikolai?
Well, it's not like a must watch, and it's not you shouldn't watch it, so it's a watch. In between.
Okay.
That's a good way to sum it up.
Fair enough.
I think you have to watch it because like the franchise as a whole is so important.
Yeah.
Some people would probably argue that's not important.
Well, I wouldn't say important either. I would probably say interesting.
Like the fact that it exists and there's so many movies is important.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we let this happen.
Yeah, the fact that the first movie starts as like street races and maybe a few cops, and the last movie they're like using these huge ships in the sea to like battle with tanks and flying on skyscrapers with their GTRs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did I misuse a term for a car?
No.
Okay. What do you think, Nikolai? Do you like how the evolution of the series?
Well, not exactly. I think it should be more realistic looking.
Okay.
But they've kind of fallen away from that ways in recent years. So.
It's gone full blown into the whole spy thing, which there was a fair amount of spy stuff, or not spy, but like FBI sort of things in the first movie, but it definitely had a lot more focus on the actual cars. And I didn't mention, this movie was directed by a guy by the name of... Wait, who was it directed by? Rob Cohen, who I've never heard of. And it was made in the year 2001. It grossed $207 million to a $38 million budget. So there's your answer for why they made more of them, because it's pretty good profit there. And it got a glowing 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. So, like, pretty mixed reviews in general. Zach, what do you think of this movie?
I think that this is the first domino in a long chain of dominoes, and every domino gets bigger.
And I like how he said domino, because... one of the main characters' name is
Dominic.
Dominic, yeah. The joke's always better when you like.
That was not intended.
Explain it.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't intended?
No, I'm sorry.
Zach, you should have just said it was intended.
I'm sorry. No, I gotta be honest. This is the movie vault.
Not the lying vault.
Yeah.
All right, so Nikolai, do you want to explain the plot, sort of, and make sure you
speak into the mic.
Speak into the mic
loudly.
Okay.
Louder.
So, the plot is, so Brian is Paul Walker in this movie, and Paul starts as a cop, and Vin Diesel is Dominic Toretto, and he takes Paul under his wing and starts him off in the street racing life as a...
lifestyle of street racing.
even though Paul is a undercover cop looking for Dominic Toretto and the street racing gang, and as Paul is under Dominic Toretto's wing, Paul begins to find favor in Dominic Toretto and his gang, and kind of,
except for that one guy,
eventually helps Dom out with not getting caught by cops.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to sum it up. There was also he's also in love with Vin's sister, not Vin, rather Dominic's sister, Mia, who is also has the eye of this other guy who they always get in fights, but he eventually saves that guy's life, so now they're buddies.
Whoever saves the other person's life gets to be liked.
And like they only like people when they like really help them out. Because at the start of the movie, Dom is like about to get arrested, and then what's Paul Walker's character? Brian? Stupid name.
Brian O'Connor.
Something like that.
Yes.
Brian, no, that's not a stupid name. One of our most avid listeners is named Brian.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Brian's a great name.
Brian O'Connor is the bad name, because that reminds me of Sarah O'Connor from Terminator.
I don't think his last name is O'Connor.
I think it is.
You don't like Sarah O'Connor?
No, I'm not a big fan. I'm sorry.
I've never watched Terminator.
Wait, what is it, Brian?
No, it is Brian O'Connor.
Yeah, because I remember thinking Sarah O'Connor. But I will say, you talked about saving persons' lives to get liked. One time, Nikoli and I were pursuing the same girl when we were in kindergarten, and I saved Nikoli's life, and the girl liked me.
Who was that girl?
I don't know. Let's move on.
Now Zach doesn't want to tell the story anymore. He's like, abort mission.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so now that do you have any quote like a quote of the movie?
Nikoli's seen this movie many times, so he has
yes.
to.
So Edwin is a
Well, don't whisper into the mic.
Street racing gang, and he says it's not how you stand by your car, it's how you race it.
Ooh, that's a good point. He's got a good point there. And I actually didn't think that Brian was really standing by his car very impressively.
And I didn't like the way that he talked.
Yeah.
I thought it was like cheesy. But yeah. I like Brian O'Connor as a person. I think as a person he's okay.
You're right. We'll get into the acting later.
There are some mixed signals that I got, like whether or not he's a good guy or a bad guy. And sometimes in the movie you kind of wonder, like, whose side is he really on, you know?
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah.
So now we have our outsider review, because you can always be a pessimist.
Go ahead.
So this outsider review is from Nell Minot from Common Sense Media, the content review guide for children. So apparently they get counted on Rotten Tomatoes in their score. She said, "This is a bad movie. Skip it. 2 out of 5."
Do you agree with that, Nikoli?
No, it's not bad. Well, I mean, if
it
for
might not
children, yes.
Maybe not for children. Oh, yeah, by the way, I don't think we've talked about this. Not every movie that we review is appropriate for children, so use discretion before you watch any of the movies.
Are we children?
Maybe you should check Common Sense Media. Good resource. Are we No, we're not children.
Okay.
I don't know that we're adults, but we're not children.
So what are we?
We're like in the in-between.
Young adults.
We're like... No, we don't. Our audience are YAs. That's what our statistics.
Yeah, statistics say that most of our listeners are between the ages of 18 to 22, which is
YAs.
YAs. You don't really become an adult until you're like 25, right?
I think.
I think you can just keep pushing it back. You're like, I'm not really an adult until I'm 30, and then you're like, I'm not really an adult until I turn 40.
And then you're like, wow, I'm at the top of the hill.
And then you're like, wow, where did my life go?
Wow.
Okay.
Next part.
So, if you buy... This is a great one, because sometimes I have a hard time tying in our sponsor with the movie, but this one's perfect because there are so many car crashes in this movie.
Yeah.
That you definitely might need auto insurance. And I'm sure these guys had Hedman Anglin Agency cover their cars, because they are known for saving people money. So you can spend more money on NOS fuel, or NOS or whatever that was, for
NOS.
your NOS. Which I know as an energy drink, but apparently actually is like some sort of like, is it like a carbon? I don't know how that works.
Explain it, Nikoli.
In the middle of the ad.
It's a fuel additive.
Okay.
Fuel additive.
That's very
okay.
generic. I like it. Very
But
good.
if you are getting fuel additives to your car, I'm sure that adds to your to the like insurance policy. So they'll get it worked out at Hedman Anglin Agency. Call them at 614-486-7300. That's 614-486-7300. If you do contact them, make sure to tell them that Ben Stanhope and Zach Leewald sent you. Oh,
Yes.
if you can remember that.
And
If
if
you
you
can't,
drive
just say
up
Ben
there
and Zach.
in a Supra, tell them that we inspired you by watching this movie.
Yeah. Did they have Supras? What was
That was
the car?
that was the orange car.
Yeah,
The
that
orange
was
car was a
orange car.
Supra. Okay. Because some of the things were like, I didn't know Honda Civics were like that sporty.
They can be.
They can be.
Nowadays they're used as like businessmen cars.
They're like, I feel like the whole atmosphere has changed around Civic. Of course, it's called a Civic. That's not like exactly the like classiest name or whatever, or the most sporty name.
Sporty.
But you can. I guess
There are sport ones.
There's
Isn't
like
David's?
Type R. I don't think David's is, but I think.
Oh.
Well, I know somebody else who might have. I don't know. Definitely, they can be sportier.
Isn't there sporty Accords too? Accords, Honda Accords. Accords are like contracts,
yeah,
right?
Accord
So like
Sport.
Accords are like big government.
I don't think that there's a
Paperwork.
sporty Accord.
I know, but like I'm just thinking like, why would they name them Civic in Accord?
Because they're trying to sell like Honda's whole business model. I thought was to sell like small fuel efficient cars, and then they like broke into that industry, and then they sold a bunch of cars, and now they sell like bigger cars because.
But why do they call it?
But they're
that?
still supposed to be like fuel efficient and like
Why do they call it Accord and
last a long time.
Civic?
Because that's what they called it in the 90s, so they still call it that now.
That's so boring.
I know Honda isn't supposed to be like super exciting, except
Yeah.
for maybe some of their.
They're
sportier
reliable. I'll
cars.
give you that. My car's
That's why they
going
have
on.
Acura.
I have an Accord.
I have a Civic.
Yeah.
I don't have a car right now actually.
He's in between cars.
Okay.
Poor Ben.
Yeah, this movie just hit me at the right time where I could see all these cool cars that I don't have.
He had one at one point. He's not a loser.
I'm not a loser.
Not that you don't have a car. Not having a car makes you a loser. It's
No, it
just
does.
Ben's
You
not
can
a loser.
just hit me where it hurts, Zach. Just hit me where it hurts.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Let's go right into the score for the movie. So the first one's sentiment. So how much did you like this movie, Nikolai? Out of 10.
I'd probably say a 7.
7.
Yeah, 7.
I give it a 6.
I gave it a 7.
Oh wow.
So we're pretty average right
7,
now.
6, 7. Pretty average. I rated Bad Boys a 6. This is now how I figure out my scores sometimes. And like I feel like I like this movie as much as I would like Bad Boys.
Okay.
Just about. So that's why it's
The
a
thing
6.
for me is, Nikolai, then we'll ask you, of course, because your opinion matters.
Okay.
But wait. Actually, I do have a question. So I gave it a 7 because it's something that I've watched a long time ago, and I kind of have seen it a few times since, and I really enjoy it. And it started a franchise that I generally like. But I'm confused. If this is like your favorite movie, why'd you only give it like a 7?
No, he said the franchise is his
Yeah,
favorite.
Oh, so you would
that's
rate one of the other ones higher then?
Yeah, probably.
Which one do you think?
Probably the second one's pretty good.
Second
Too
one.
Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
It also has the best name, I think.
Yeah, the names are inconsistent throughout. It's like the
I
Fast
like
and
that
the
about
Furious,
it.
Too Fast, Too Furious,
Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift,
and then Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious. Then
Fast
it goes
5.
It's Furious 6, and then is it Fast and Furious 7, and then it's
Fate
Fate
of the
8.
Furious. Fate of the Furious.
Something Furious 8, Fate of the Furious, and then
Yeah.
now
it's
it's
F8, Fate of the Furious.
and now it's F9. I think it's just F9. I think
People are just supposed to understand.
and now and there's going to be a 10th one. I think
Called Fast 10, Your Seatbelts.
No, it's not.
that's a good joke right there.
Yeah.
I already laughed earlier. That's why I didn't laugh now.
Yeah, that's why. And there's also Hobbs and Shaw, which I think they're going to make a sequel of.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's spin-offs.
Hobbs and Shaw. If you watched this movie and you watch Hobbs and Shaw, you'd be like, how are these even related in the slightest? Because they seem nothing like each other.
But you'll see eventually if you watch through these movies, because they get more spectacular as you go on.
So the message, I gave the message a 6.
6.
7.
7.
Okay. Explain.
Well, we can't have 666, so.
Oh. He's got a good reason.
All right. That was good. I gave it a 6 because I enjoyed generally the message. But I mean, it just wasn't as apparent as it was like in other movies. Especially, I think as the Fast and Furious movies go on, it becomes more about family, which I think is a good message. But this movie, didn't really know about that.
Yeah, because the family hadn't been established yet.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them had been, but like Brian hadn't been fully integrated into the family, and then he was sort of lying to them.
Mm-hmm.
But then the end of the movie sort of like ended with them on even ground, and then they sort of did end it ambiguously, so you don't really know what happens.
They're like, if we make enough money, we'll make another one. If not,
Yeah, then you'll have this nice ambiguous ending, and you can imagine.
Yeah.
And now they told us what happened instead of us imagining it.
Yeah, that's probably it. Nick, why did you actually give it a 6?
Or 7.
7. My bad.
No, that's what we did.
Yeah.
Pretty much, you guys touched on it. The family thing was touched on. Pretty much all I have.
That's a good enough reason, because that's exactly what my reason was, so I can't make fun of him. But okay, next is character arcs, right?
Yeah.
Plot.
All right.
Or plot.
Plot.
Let's go plot.
I gave plot a 7.
I gave plot a 5.
I'll give it a 7, yeah.
Okay. I generally like this plot. I keep saying generally, but generally I say generally, I guess. So I liked it because I liked the car stuff, which isn't the plot. It's more like choreography and maybe cinematography. I don't know. It's like style. But I enjoy like the fact that the whole plot is based around cars. And I don't really love it being based around cars, but I like it, so I gave it a 7. Just like, and 7, that's like a high. That's high for me.
That is kind of high.
Maybe I'm regretting, but I guess
I gave it a 5, and because I thought it was kind of muddled. Like, it was a little confusing to figure out what was happening, and you were like, oh, he's part of the FBI, and that didn't seem like totally consistent with his character at all.
Yeah.
Like, they were like saying, this might have to do more with character arcs, but they were saying that Brian's character was supposed to be like, want to be a detective, but I never really saw a drive for him to want to be a detective. I saw a drive for him to want to be a street racer.
Yeah.
So I was like, why is he even part of the police at this point? And maybe that was part of what you're supposed to get out of the ending, with that he was street racing instead of like arresting him.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to infer a lot of things. So I just thought it was
yeah. There was a line in the beginning where Brian says like, he's like, if I win, then I get your car and your pride, and he's like, because some people, or your respect, because some people value that more, or something like that.
It's cash and respect.
Cash, yeah, okay. Thank you. And I feel like in the end, Brian was the type of guy to want that respect, because I mean, he did want to win. Like, he was laughing when he barely lost to Dom.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like in the end, he kind of was a hypocrite.
It's like, yeah, like Brian knew he was talented at driving. He just, because some of the street drag racing is just about how powerful your car is. So if your car gives up on you, it's like maybe you could have shifted something faster. I don't exactly know how that works. Mm. But at the end of the day, if someone has a more expensive car, you know, they're probably going to win.
What about you, Nick? Why'd you give it a 7?
Well, so the plot was overall good because had the car, it all blended well with each other, with car racing, family,
a little bit of spies,
yeah,
in disguise.
Yeah.
I hate that you keep referencing that movie.
I don't know why, I've never seen it.
That's like the third time you've referenced it in the past 6 months. That, and what's the other movie? The turkey one.
The Freebirds?
Freebirds.
Guys, watch Freebirds.
I hate that movie.
Woody Harrelson.
What was it? Owen Wilson.
Oh, no, it's Owen Wilson and Woody
Owen
Harrelson.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and if you want to listen to Lightning McQueen as a turkey, going back in time, saving the turkeys.
That's so weird. Owen Wilson is in time travel in Loki. The new Loki series, Owen Wilson deals with time travel again.
And Owen Wilson is in Wonder, where he's the dad of the one kid.
Which came out like 2 years ago, which is back in time.
It's almost like Owen Wilson is an actor and he gets paid to be in movies and TV shows.
Hey, but we get paid to be in people's lives.
We get paid to talk about these people.
Yeah, and we don't even. But we do.
But we do, but barely. But we're making it, guys.
But we're very what's the word? What's the word? I've never used it before. Grateful. We're grateful.
We're grateful. Zach's like, I can barely get it out off my tongue, but like, just this little tiny part of Zach is great. No, I'm just kidding. We are really grateful to anybody who listens because we don't really know why people listen to us.
Yeah.
But people do, I guess.
Well, I mean, I hung out with Nikolai before this. I feel like that was the only reason that he came here.
No.
Oh, okay. I stand.
He came here for the
corrected.
clout.
Now we know the real answer.
Yeah, we pay people in clout. You're welcome, Nikolai.
All right.
Wait till later when you get like 400 more Instagram followers after this.
Oh, okay.
Just tag yourself when we tag our Instagram, okay?
Okay.
Okay, character arcs. I gave it a 6 for character arcs.
I gave it a 6.
I'll give it a 7.
Okay.
7.
Explain.
Well, the character arcs is all the characters are pretty well established. Like, they all make sense, and the history and their purpose in the movie all blend and work together. So,
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
definitely right.
I agree. I don't think the character arcs are as strong as some other movies I've watched. I think the character, thinking about how over the course of the franchise versus just this movie, I feel like the character arcs are probably developed a lot more. And I think Brian sort of took me out of the movie sometimes just because of how he acted.
I'm gonna be honest. I know we're gonna get into an acting, but I didn't like the acting of Paul Walker.
I did
that
not
much.
like Paul Walker.
I know it's not good to talk bad about the dead.
Vin Diesel was good. Paul Walker.
But I'm sorry.
You just had to say that. Like
He does better though. He does better eventually. Like I don't want to talk about actors that are dead.
So Paul Walker, was this like his first big movie, or had he been in anything else? Because I know him only from this.
Let's
He's
find
been
out.
on more.
Wikipedia, the most
We might as
reliable
well
source.
skip to acting at this point. He had a bunch of cars. That's shocking. Not seeing his filmography. That's all I care about.
Yeah, but he's been in stuff before.
He's been in stuff.
Maybe stuff we've never heard of.
Yeah, I've never heard of.
But this
any of these
definitely
movies.
put his face out there eventually, and then of course when 2017 or 2016 he passed away or something in a car
Okay.
crash.
Paul Walker was in She's All That, Joyride, Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues, I know that from The
Yeah,
Office.
so I think he started as
Pleasantville.
like a teen actor. That he was on a soap opera too, I believe. And
A lot more.
and so then this was definitely his big thing with Vin Diesel. And I do like the continuity. I mean, obviously it's Paul Walker passed away and then it was not able to be in 8 and 9 and 10. But with Vin Diesel kind of being that cohesive piece, I think like having like The Rock and Jason Statham both sort of become big members of the movie. And I don't know whether any of the other people like in this movie in the rest of them.
What's the girl? That one girl.
Dom's girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's in it.
Dom's girlfriend's in it for the whole time.
Letty. Yeah, Letty.
Yeah, Letty, and also Jason Statham's a big part, but he's like a villain, and then he becomes kind of good, and he like teams up a little bit to stop his
'cause
brother, right, or something like that, in like the 6th movie maybe or 7th. I forget.
remember.
It's really confusing, but there
I
are
only
big
know him from
actors.
Hobbs and Shaw, and I do know that he and Hobbs had sort of this like weird relationship in that movie. That's all I know about them, though.
Yeah,
But let's see, we got cinematography, which I gave a 6.
I give it a 7. Nick,
Cinnamon. I'll give it.
just how everything looked, like the visuals.
Oh, I'll probably give it 6.
6.
6.
Okay.
Some of the camera work in this movie was weird.
Yeah.
Like the end scene where they had like the little like quick slow motion clips or like fading things.
Oh, you're talking
Like-
about when they were about to go across the railroad track.
Yeah.
I hated that.
They did a lot of weird stuff like that. They didn't do that the whole movie, but they just did a lot. Like there wasn't like consistent things that they did with the camera. They just were like all over the place. I felt like,
Mm-hmm.
and it did look. Some of them did work and look cool because but I feel like some of that was just because the cars are cool, and so the scenes were cool. Not necessarily because of what they did with the visual camera work.
Yeah. Yeah. Nick, do you have any scenes that stuck out that you liked, like visually? Do you remember?
No, not really.
Nothing stuck out.
So
visually.
7's like your. You said 7 or 6?
No, 6.
6 is like your meh. Like it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like it's above. It's like it's adequate for the movie.
Yeah,
But
for a
it's not
racing car movie.
It's not gonna like win anything or like be known as like a greatly filmed movie.
Although people do reference it like that. In my life, at least.
Oh, they do?
But I can't count my personal experience for everyone's.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't consider this that great. But if you want to argue with us, you can always email us at themovievaultpod@gmail.com. And you can write really long emails about how wrong we are about everything, and we will enjoy reading them.
Actually, we will.
You can tell us that we're bad at podcasting.
Because we know we are.
And then you can tell us how to improve. That would be helpful, maybe.
Yeah, but please at least insult us so we know you're telling the truth.
Yeah, we hear that we're good all the time. Actually, I don't know. We never mind.
I don't think anyone ever told us we're good. Have they?
They're like, oh wow, you're doing a podcast. That's so neat. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think that's how it goes. We're grateful, of course.
We're grateful,
but we understand.
We need some people to really get like, like I just watched Fight Club. Like that's what we need. We just need to get like hit in the face a couple times.
What's that new movie coming out? Free
Birds.
Never mind. It was like it's with Bob Odenkirk from Breaking Bad.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it's called.
It's like Guy or like I don't know. Free Man. I forget.
Does it have to do with fighting?
It's like he just gets beat up and that's the movie.
That's sort of what Fight Club is like. But
yeah.
Fight Club's more ambitious than that.
We'll see. We'll see.
Talk about good cinematography in that movie. Although a little dated, but it's good. So now originality.
I gave it a 6.
I gave it a 5.
Nick?
How
original do you think it is compared to other movies?
I wonder what
when it came out.
I think it would be a 7.
Okay.
7. I think that's somewhat fair though, because like did start a franchise, so it's got to be somewhat original.
Yeah.
Although, because I feel like this is a franchise that borrows from a lot of other things, but it still is sort of unique.
Why do you think it's original?
Well, I don't think there was anything previous street racing wise.
What year did this come out again?
2001.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't think there was anything.
The movie. So the thing is, I think the movie Cars stole from this.
I actually agree with that. Yeah.
Because there was some scenes where like the train scene where they barely get across the train. That's in Cars. The scene where a car flips right over the other car. Lightning McQueen does that with Chick Hicks in the first Cars movie.
Speed Racer came out after this, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think you're right about that. I actually I'm just looking up like, street racing movies, and like nothing. I think everything is like newer than the Fast and the Furious, other than maybe like Death Race 2000, which I'm not really sure that movie is about street racing.
No,
yeah. So I mean, I gave it a 6 just because there are racing. I know there are racing movies before that. It's just this was like the groundbreaking one that was bigger budget and had better actors and just kind of got out there.
But it is so stuck in its time because they dated this movie, which they have to. I guess it's a car movie, like
yeah.
But like everything about this is like, oh, this is so early 2000s.
Whereas
late 90s.
you could watch another movie like made back then, and it could be like really relevant today. But this, you watch it, and you're like, this is so
and it's
weird.
like I feel like it's a lot of the things that were popular back then that have like not like people don't look back on as like these were the things, like the music they picked and like some of the styles were definitely not like maybe I think the cars are still like the cars still stick out as being cool, although you don't really see those kind of cars as much anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, but speaking of the Cars movie, definitely you remember when Mac is like falling asleep and then the cars pull up next to him?
Yeah.
That's so much pulled from this movie.
Oh, you're right.
Because they steal from the truckers.
The semi-truck.
And all of those cars look like the cars in this movie.
Wow.
So Cars, this might be lending to this movie might not copy as much as other movies copy from it.
Who directed Cars?
Some guy.
That's funny that Cars came up twice because Owen Wilson.
Oh yeah,
but
I mean, it has to come up. It's like the kids' version of this. No, actually, it has.
Yeah, but it came up.
John Lasseter, who we do not approve of all of everything that he's done in his life, but he was important in Pixar's creation.
Yeah.
But we also don't approve. We
don't endorse anything.
We don't endorse anything. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like,
I mean, the Bible.
We know there's some things
ourselves.
about John Lasseter that have come out that are bad, but there's things that we don't know about other people that we talk about that are probably bad too. So.
Nick, what do you think about it? Who do you endorse?
I don't know.
Come on, Nick.
No. All right, moving on. All right. Acting.
I gave acting a 5.
I give acting a 6, but I can see the 5.
Nick?
I'd give it a 6.
Okay.
The only person who's really good in this is Vin Diesel.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, Vin Diesel's probably the best one.
Yeah.
I think Paul Walker has sort of a... I think it's kind of bad, actually. Like, I don't actually think his performance was that good.
I thought it was cheesy.
Like, it's important. Like, he's an important character, so you have to pay attention to what he's doing. But, like, his acting skills are not quite there at this point.
Well, I thought that Letty was a cheesy actor, too. I thought the movie being cheesy kind of put a damper on the acting itself.
Actually, most people were cheesy besides Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel was the only person who I was like, okay, this guy is cool.
He reminded me of...
I believe it that he's cool.
He reminded me of Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad.
I haven't gotten to him, that character.
Well,
but
I'm sorry.
maybe he is actually... Is he that actually played by Vin or is Mike Ehrmantraut an actor?
No, Mike Ehrmantraut is the character in Breaking Bad.
Oh, is he played by Vin Diesel?
No.
That would be funny if you were just like... He reminds me of this guy who's also played by Vin Diesel.
No. I forget that guy's name. I think it's like Hitchcock or something.
I mean, yeah, I'm just thinking of the other people in this. Yeah, actually, most of the people, like, the other people and his crew and even some of the street racers and the villains, like, they're all kind of cheesy, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that anybody in the side characters really pulls off a good performance. So Vin Diesel's really holding this up.
Yeah, and it was kind of, like, almost a little cringy to, like, watch.
Some of the people
listen.
definitely. And maybe it was just, like, the era. And now,
Yeah.
like, looking back on it, like, 19 years later, some of the stuff you're like, they wouldn't put that in a movie now, or like that doesn't really fit. But
Yeah, that's true.
it might just have been a product of its time.
All right, what's the next one?
Style. Which-
Style.
I gave Style a 6, but like it was actually kind of cool.
I give it a 7.
I'd say a 7.
Okay. Why do you say 7?
The street racing aspect is pretty cool, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And it's just mostly about street racing, so
Yeah,
it was
I
pretty
agree.
cool, I guess.
Yeah. No, I don't. I know nothing about cars, but this was accessible to people who don't know anything about cars while still being like somewhat nerdy about cars.
Yeah, it was
although
super
probably
nerdy.
people who really know about cars are probably like, oh, this movie is like sucks on how it explains it. I don't know that for sure, but it seemed cool to me and it seemed believable to some. Although some of the stuff where they like press the buttons and it like speeds up that much, that didn't seem as believable. But I've never street raced, so it could be like that.
I think that happens, I think.
that happens.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a boost, I guess.
Yeah.
So it would
Yeah.
like boot. Okay. I just don't know anything
That's real.
about cars.
Neither do I. It's just I know that there's a shiny red button.
And the button makes you go.
Yeah.
All right. So now soundtrack score. I think this was not a good score.
I gave it a 7. I thought it was okay.
I give it a 4.
Oh.
I just didn't like they used like a lot of like new metal songs and that whole genre of music.
You're not into that, Ben?
No, new metal is one of the like that kind of music is like one of the worst styles of music.
What about you, Nikolai? The soundtrack.
I'd give it an 8 because it
8?
goes well with the street racing.
I
Oh,
think
so
it
now we
does.
got some real disagreement.
So why do you think that they went well? Like what kind of music what was it? I don't even remember.
It was a lot of like
rap
the
and
hip hop.
stuff.
It was a lot of hip hop, which that was fine. That worked well. I just didn't like the few new metal songs that were in there.
Yeah.
But and maybe some of the other parts of the soundtrack.
Are you into metal, Nikolai?
No,
You're not?
not at
No,
all.
this isn't metal. This is new metal. Which
Are
is,
you into new metal?
No.
Really? You don't go home and listen to new metal about?
No.
Not
That's
even-
like Linkin Park. Linkin Park would be a new metal.
I grew up in
Maybe
Linkin
if I
Park.
start street racing.
or like
maybe.
Limp Bizkit, who's they're trash. If you want to argue with me
Trash.
about music opinions, you can email me that too. Although I doubt there'll be that many defenders of this particular genre. All right, choreography.
Ooh, I think I actually. Nick, what did you give it?
I'd give it probably 5.
5.
Choreography of 5?
I give it 7.
I gave it an 8. Dude, it's like maybe we didn't explain it. It's more of a movement, like
Movement.
kinetic energy.
Not dancing, unless there's dancing.
It's
in
like
the movie,
action
which-
sequences.
Well, there was sort of dancing in this
Yeah,
movie.
but I mean,
You don't think they're good?
okay, I'll give it like a 6.
Okay, so are you comparing it to the other movies or something?
No, the newer movies are bad.
better.
Really? They are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I thought that the scene with the truck was cool. So
Yeah, that was
I don't
okay.
know.
I gave it an 8. I enjoyed. Maybe it's just because we haven't done like a racing movie in our podcast yet.
Yeah, or like a racing, they're like driving fast cars while they're stealing, somebody shooting them with a shotgun. Like I haven't
Tenet.
seen that scene. Oh, I guess it is sort of like Tenet.
It's exactly like Tenet.
Yeah, except for Tenet's way
Well, in
cooler.
Tenet, they do the thing around the semi truck too. Actually,
Although at least the characters feel like they're real people. Tenet, they felt like I am a lifeless object that's meant to convey Christopher
have you
Nolan's
seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan's thing. I do nothing besides drive the plot along, which is very complicated.
Took him like 5 years to write it.
Yeah, he cannot write female characters either. Anyway, this wasn't supposed to turn into a Christopher Nolan roast session.
Sorry,
but-
Chris.
Sorry, Chris. You're ambitious and you're smart.
That's why you're
smarter
famous.
than me.
Yep.
All right, so that brings us to our total scores. Mine's 57%.
That's okay. You're good, Nick. I give it a 66%.
So that puts it.
Wow, I've rated this way higher than you.
Yeah.
By like not how many 9%? You say 57?
Yeah, I said 57. So
Wow.
yeah, 9% higher. So this is a moment that you got to relish in because a lot of times I end up rating it higher than Zach, but we kind of disagreed on this one. But
This was the biggest division between me and Ben, where I'm the higher one.
that puts it tied with me for that puts Zach would tie this with Good Time. Good Time is so much better than this movie.
Well, I'm also putting the weight of the franchise on this movie.
Of course, he also did. Yeah, that's true. And for me, it would be tied with The Lovebirds, which I think is a fair comparison. They're not at all like each other, but I like them equally.
I guess I could see that. One of them's pretty funny. The other one's just pretty good.
Yeah. And just below B Movie, which
the B movie.
might be a little bit overrated. But hey, and then in the overall ranking, it'll probably be. We'll have to tell you what the overall rating is at some point, but not right now because it'll take too long. It'll probably be somewhere. It'll probably be close to Die Hard, which personally I think Die Hard is a little low on our list compared to how popular it is, but maybe we just didn't like it that much. I don't know.
Yeah. Wait, you mean like the mixed? It would
Like
be,
like
it was
our review,
61.5.
we gave Die Hard between 63%, and Die Hard is like some people it's a lot of people's like favorite movie.
I think it's Brian's.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of people like and that's like not like I definitely see why people like Die Hard. I guess we just didn't rate it very well. I don't know. Like I think we like
We apologize.
we like Pixar movies better. I guess.
we have a lot of good Pixar. Up, I guess just two, Up and Soul, right?
Yeah, but they're like in the top 3 in between Donnie Darko, which is like my second favorite movie. So yeah, that's sort of a sneak peek at the list. We'll probably end up doing some sort of outside the vault on the list.
Yeah.
But so now what we want to do plot holes, Brita
Yeah.
moments.
Yeah, Brita moments. I would say there were a lot. It was just like, how did they have that police radio channel up? I guess they're public, but it's just like,
It's called you get a police
I know it's public,
scanner.
but like, I don't know. It just seemed kind of
It
weird.
just seems unlikely that they can organize that whole
Yeah,
event
that's what
on
I
that.
meant.
It's not even that far out of the city. I mean, they definitely waited till the police went away, but it was still seemed to me like somebody would be. out
Also,
or
they
something.
didn't need to race like with the train. Like that was pointless. They
No, they did because they had to win. You had to get past the train tracks.
Yeah, but like it was just like a pointless race. They could have just moved on.
I don't know. I guess it depends on how much meaning you read into like the moment they were having together.
Yeah, but that moment
like,
doesn't
yeah.
matter because he crashed his car.
Yeah, that's true. That was kind of dumb. They
Yeah.
like subvert your expectations because it's like you're like, oh, is the train gonna crash into him? And then it doesn't, and then the semi hits Dom.
Yeah, that's like it's just like the whole thing is stupid.
So then, what is that supposed to add to the meaning of the movie?
Exactly. Plot hole. Nick, do you have any plot holes
Let me check here.
or anything at all? Anything at all?
Anything
that
you like didn't like?
It's just
about
really
the
anything.
movie.
That's why we call it the Brita moments.
Yeah,
Mm.
because anything that pulls the movie down, you know.
Yeah, like Brita
Like
on
Brita
the
does.
Community franchise.
Yeah, just a big old stain.
Yeah,
No, not really.
Not really.
it's perfect.
It's 10 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. So now stock market. Oh man, you better have invested in this.
Yeah,
Because it's still alive and kicking. Might be one of the more successful franchises that started from
True.
its time.
It's been around for 20 years now.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get taken as seriously as Marvel, but it sort of, and it's not as big as Marvel, but
Not
it's
even close.
It's in between being as big as Marvel, and it's like bigger than a trilogy,
Yeah.
but smaller than like a huge franchise like Marvel.
I'd
It's like
say-
that mid tier.
It's probably like a little bit smaller than the Harry Potter franchise.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Harry Potter is just more popular.
And they have, I think, do they have more movies?
They
Or
have
about the same?
slightly more movies, I think. With
Well,
the-
there's
if
9
you
Fast
count-
and Furious
there's,
movies.
There's 9 Fast and Furious movies.
Isn't there 9 Harry Potters?
There's 8, I think.
8, okay.
And
so
then
Fast and
there's the
Furious is 9.
Fantastic Beasts movies, though.
Oh, you're right.
So the spin-offs, but then you add Hobbs and Shaw, so that's 10.
So
Maybe
it's
10 to
one off.
11. It's pretty
Okay.
close. Harry Potter's probably more
So
popular.
they even?
So
So if there's 8 Harry Potter movies plus 2 is 10, and then if there's 9 Fast and Furious, oh wait, there's only 9.
there
There's
will be
8. There's 8.
There's
You're right.
8.
then
There will be a 9th one, and there will
You're
be a
right.
10th one, but there'll probably be more Harry Potter movies. So it's kind of confusing.
Yeah.
I doubt the fan overlap. I mean, between the two franchises is probably like smaller
Yeah.
than like Harry Potter and Star Wars or Harry Potter and Marvel. But
Yeah, that's true.
people who are diehard fans of this, which I did a long time ago, I had an account with David where we did memes, and they weren't like great memes or anything, but we did pride ourselves in making our own memes rather than just copying or just like reposting other people's memes. And one of my memes, I did like a little satire piece on Vin Diesel. I said he was retiring from Fast and Furious because he realized that the movies were driving up the teen car wreck rates, and he was going to instead be in a movie called The Slow and the Calm that was directed by for some reason Guillermo del Toro, who directed Academy Award winning movie The Shape of Water and Pan's Labyrinth, because it seemed like he would make a slow movie. That's the only reason.
And Hellboy.
And Hellboy, yeah, he did do Hellboy too. But the funny thing is, I got a lot of comments on that post, which it wasn't popular or anything, but we used hashtags, and there was a lot of people like, "What? This can't be true," or "This isn't real." I looked it up, and they like totally like went over their heads that it was completely a satire, and so that's funny because it was my first real like satire. Is sort of an interesting thing because it's the most funny thing about satire is when people don't get it. I feel like.
Yeah.
That's a funny story.
Or when they do find out, the fact that they come back and tell you that they found out.
It's like, yeah, I knew that.
like you knew
It's like they're
they
so
were tricked. Like somehow you had this omniscient power to know when they were actually tricked, And then they have to prove
They're
you wrong
like,
by
hey, I figured you out.
commenting. Yeah. Anything on that, Nick?
Well, so I looked up Fast and Furious franchise is worth like $5.3 billion.
Holy crap.
And then
That's
Harry Potter franchise is worth $25 billion.
Okay, so it's about a fifth.
But 5.3
Or
is still a fifth.
Yeah.
5.3 is still a lot, and Harry Potter has a lot going for it because it appeals to a broader range of audience members.
Yeah, and they started off with books, so the books were insanely popular before the movies.
There's no Fast and Furious book. Well, there might be now, but there
Yeah.
weren't in the past.
Dom's Legacy.
Tom's like
Dom's Diary.
Tom's diary. Dear diary, I met a guy named Brian today.
He's my best friend.
You've never. I'm imagining it like Heather's now. I know you haven't watched Heather's, but she writes in her diary. She has this like little diary follicle thing that when she's writing in it, and I'm just imagining Dom with that.
Hold on, I am interested. Hold on.
I would also invest. I don't know whether I invest in any of the actors though. I mean, if you mean like as part of the franchise, Paul Walker and Vin Diesel were obviously successful, but outside of Fast and Furious, I feel like their careers were. I mean, Vin Diesel did like the pacifier or whatever, which was sort of popular, I think.
It's done Triple X.
Oh, Triple X, yeah. Okay, so he had a pretty successful career because Triple X is popular, and he's sort of like a Bruce Willis. That's how I like. He's that type of actor, although Bruce Willis maybe has had more versatile movies than Vin Diesel. But
the biggest grossing franchises are Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Wars, and then Harry Potter. Or no, Wizarding World.
what is that?
Oh, but that's the Harry Potter Deathly Hallows. Okay. I guess they separate it on this website.
That's dumb.
Yeah. So it goes Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Wars, Harry Potter.
If you combine Harry Potter, they might be able to rival Star Wars, but I don't know what the reasoning is behind doing that. All right, so feedback. So always feel free to send us in feedback, but we won't be offended if you don't, because people haven't for a while. So if we were offended, then we'd have to say something about it.
That was a slight jab.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
So do better at that. All right, so what is our final thoughts on the movie? So,
I'll go, then you can go, then Nick can go. Yeah, I'm in charge here. I'm joking. No, I like this movie. I've seen it a few times, so I paid a little bit less attention to this movie this time than I would to another podcast movie they were doing, but I enjoy it. I think it's good generally. In my ratings, I probably rested more of the franchise on it than I should have, but I enjoy the car races. I enjoy Vin Diesel, and it's funny to see the evolution of it more than it is to see this actual movie. So I enjoy the best part about Fast and Furious for me is the evolution of the characters and the evolution of the spectacularity. Is that a word? Of the changes of the movies as they go on.
And I'm coming from this from barely having seen any. I've only seen Hobbs and Shaw, before this, which is like
the last one.
One that was made, and a spin-off from the entire series. So going back to this one, it was definitely because I always knew these movies existed, but I never wanted to go like watch Fast 8 or Fast 7 in theaters without having watched the first one. So this kind of it's interesting because people have probably gone from watching it in 2001 till now have gotten to see the progression, but I haven't. But I still think it's like an interesting movie, and a fun one to watch, especially if you just need like sort of a movie that's just you can turn your brain off. Although they could have made it easier for you on the plot.
Yeah.
But it's like a fun action movie with a little bit of heart too.
Yeah, a little bit. What do you have to say?
I thought it was pretty well because plot and everything, and it all blends well. And some fun facts for you about this movie is the pizza man in this movie, when they close the road or whatever, is actually the director.
Oh, wow.
And Race Wars was actually an event created for this movie and actually continues today and has upwards of 40,000 people in attendance.
Me and Zach,
seriously, it was created because of this
movie?
Me and
Zach are going to take a vlogging trip to Race Wars. I'm just kidding. That's pretty cool.
That's weird. And you said 40,000 people go to it? So they actually do those on the street?
No, it's in the
desert somewhere. In LA somewhere.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's different.
Or Hollywood.
We should do that. We should take a movie vault trip to Race Wars. 2021.
All right. 2021. Donate to us if you want to make it happen. All right. So next movie, I don't know what it is, and I think we have a guess, but we don't usually have that scheduled out, so we'll definitely be doing something though.
Yep.
And then finally, we have to do our social media plugs. So at Movie Vault Pod on Twitter, at the Movie Vault Pod on Instagram, and the Movie Vault Pod at gmail.com if you want to email us.
And Nikolai, please insert your Instagram.
If you would like to.
Nikolai Christensen. I think that's it.
Yeah. So just look up Nikolai Christensen. We'll put it in the
Nikolai's about to get 400 followers.
We're gonna put it into his into the description of the episode so that you can go follow Nikolai.
Oh, and it's Christensen Nikolai 04.
Christensen Nikolai 04. Make sure you remember that.
He's the fourth Nikolai Christensen out there.
Yes.
That I don't know. It seems shocking, but I guess
it's not.
It's not.
No.
That was your soccer number, right?
Yeah, that's my soccer
number.
number.
Well, the thing is, okay, that was my soccer number.
Oh yeah, and I stole it.
He stole it from me because he got to pick the number before I did.
That's so dumb.
And I was number 4 for like 4 years, and then on the 5th year I didn't get it, but then my last year I got it, so I shared it. Yep. All right.
What was my number? Oh wait,
I shared one of them.
It's time to close the vault.
Okay, Nikolai, would you like to close the vault? You just have to make some kind of abnormal noise
that signals that the vault that's definitely real is closing.
No, I have no idea.
All right. Wait. Just make a noise.
I don't have any ideas right now.
Make a car noise, I mean.
I don't have any car noise.
Okay, no car noise. Okay. I guess we'll have to do it. All right, let's get in.
3, 2, 1. Vroom, 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 vroom. Oh my god.
Vroom. Okay, that was stupid.